I needed those 3 minutes.
What's up, everyone? This is WPwatercooler, episode number 470. Goodbye, Hello Dolly.
Goodbye, Hello Dolly.
I'm Jason Tucker. Go to my website and you can figure out where I'm at on the internet.
I'm Say Reed, and I don't know where I'm at, but I'm usually at Say Reed Media on all the things. Come say hi.
And y'all know who it is. It's your boy Jason Cosper, back at it again on the world's most influential WordPress podcast.
And speaking of those podcasts, you can find us wherever it is that podcasts can be found on the internet. And you can come hang out with us in our Discord. We've been having a good time over there in our Discord, both beginning and before and after the show.
After Cooler. Actually,
yeah.
I just want to give a little shout out to our Discord. Not that I was needing a reminder that the show was going to start in 7 minutes, but I do think that was handy. a giant message from Mika coming across my screen that said 7 minutes till showtime. I was like, oh, whoops.
So it wasn't the 8 o'clock in the morning text message that I said, oh, okay.
Oh. No, remember with ADHD, you start to tune those things out, and we've just known each other too long, friend.
Look, I'm just trying to make sure that someone's saying something.
The key thing I think is that it was in a different app. Like it was I was like, oh, I have to pay attention to this.
I'll send you a message on Friendster next time.
Yeah, just switch apps each week. I'm getting great ADHD ideas ideas for apps for ADHD people in alarm.
You have to write a book. How to be friends with someone who has ADHD.
There's a lot of content out there for that right now. But
yeah,
I think there's a lot of relationship content, but less friend content. And honestly, that's a niche. I might get into that.
I think that the book requires too much attention, so it maybe needs to be about 30 to 90 second TikToks.
No, I can't. You know how long a 30 to second 90 TikTok takes me? Hey, wait, that's a perfect segue into our topic for today.
Wow.
You didn't do that on purpose. I don't even.
Oh, I was going to say something that's totally unrelated. Hey.
It's not totally unrelated. It's related to my story. And I want y'all to know, anyone listening, that I've saved this story for this episode. Like, I have not really told it to anyone, including these two dudes. I kind of told them a little bit just because I was like live telling them what was happening when we were doing the show. But so you want to hear the story? Here's my story.
Please.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll have to fill 27 more minutes, and I mean,
have no idea how to do that.
Right?
Just with random banter. Us? Never. If you distract me during this story, it's gonna take all 27 minutes.
Oh, I can make that happen.
No, please God, no. Yeah, thanks for noticing my new background. I can
make things show up on the screen. I can totally distract you. We'll never hear the story.
Block out the bottom third of the screen there. But I did get a new background because I was so late and I went in my office and the internet was jacked. So I was like, the living room it is. Actually, this is the dining room, but whatever. Anyway, let's get to the story. I'm going to try to focus and not interrupt myself 10,000 times. I'm going to try. Okay. All right. So some of you longtime listeners of the show or friends may know that I used to own a bookstore. Right. It was called Open. It opened in 2003, which was 20 years ago. So like it was 20 years ago today. So I kept those. I didn't sell the store. I didn't get rid of the inventory. I saved it because I'd always planned to reopen. And I sort of did reopen in like 2015 and then had to close that again because someone else made bad choices. And then I got married and had a kid. And so these books, and then there was that COVID thing. You remember that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then also the economy has been like wild in terms of, do people have money? Do people have money to buy books? Are books a thing? I mean, they weren't a thing when I stopped doing the books in 2012, but they're kind of a thing again. Anyway. So long story short, I have this giant storage unit full of books. I call it my bookstore in a box. And one of my goals for this year was to get this, start to process it out. So I I'm very proud of myself for this. It sounds like a very small thing, but I did a little pop-up bookstore booth at like my favorite coffee shop has a parking lot, and they did a little flea market, right? So I did a little booth, and you can actually see the videos on TikTok, because that's where I am putting my videos of me unpacking this storage unit of doom, as I like to call it. So you can go check that out. It's Open the Bookstore on TikTok. But so this weekend I did that, and I was going through the stuff. I haven't looked at these books in a long time. I haven't looked at the inventory that I had in a long time. And we had books and music and magazines and graphics, comic books. I was going to call them graphics. Just, stuff like that. Art, all those things. Anyway, so I've never been as good at the records that I was as the books. The books were always my thing. Records are just kind of, they come with books a lot and they're cool. I just don't know a lot about them. So I have to look them up and figure that out a lot. So I was going through my boxes of books, and I also had these 3 boxes of records. And I had gone through them, and I was going through the boxes of records, and I found one. I came upon one, and it was, you can show the picture. Can you show the picture? Take the picture of it. It was dun, 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 Hello Dolly by Louis Armstrong, right? Are you going to put the picture up? No one's putting the picture up.
No, I'm on a totally different computer. This computer doesn't even know that picture exists.
Okay, my table is rattling. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Really,
it's okay. Please tell us more. Hello Dolly.
Okay, sorry.
Stay on
almost got
target.
to some WordPress content. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there. All right, so I found the record, and I was like, oh, and I had just all of these wild emotions all at one time. I was like, Hello Dolly. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know we had this. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I was like, I wonder if Matt Mullenweg has one of these. It's basically a first edition. I'm going to die just saying this. Okay. It's like a first printing of the Hello Dolly. It's like, whatever. This great, clean, super nice edition. I felt so many feelings because I was like, oh, this would be so cool to have. And then I was like, basically I was triggered, right? I got triggered by just Hello Dolly existing. And then I was like, I can't look at this right now. I need to just whatever, because I needed to focus on what I was doing. And I just started getting really negative feeling about all the stuff that had happened, recently with all of the WordPress stuff that you all know about if you've been listening. So I forgot about it. I put it out of my mind. I was like, don't think about that. I don't care about that. Just whatever. And I didn't think about it anymore. And I didn't revisit it. And then in the middle of the day, I was super busy, and there were people coming around. It was really fun. And some people came up to me. They had been looking at the records, and they had a little stack. And I went through them real quick. I was like, oh, okay, there's 5 records here, whatever. And one of them, in the middle, was the Hello Dolly record. And I was like, oh. And I hadn't decided what I was going to do with it yet. So I had this pang of oh, I don't really want to get rid of that yet, but I, had it out to sell. I can't be sorry, I'm taking that one back. I could have. I actually did take a picture of it, which no one can show you apparently. But we can put it in the Discord or something. I was like, hold on. I actually pulled it, took a picture of it, and then said, okay, and then sold it to them for $5. And then I had this terrible sinking feeling in my stomach, and I looked at them as they walked away, and they were like, yeah. Really so excited. And I was like, oh, that's worth a lot of money, isn't it? And they walked away with their $5 record. And I later talked to another record person who was there, and she was like, yeah, it's probably around $300. Cool. That feels good. So basically I had this whole experience of losing a lot of money. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's, roughly, it's a lot of fun for this.
It's money.
It's money, right? And I sold it for $5. I'm glad they're very excited about it. But I always, you always kind of feel I don't know, I don't know if you've ever lost a baseball card or a valuable thing that you're like, oh. And I had so many just feelings and negativity around it that it was it was literally WordPress coming into this other part of my life and having a negative impact on it. And I was just really struck by this, that and Hello Dolly, the plugin, is in every single WordPress, right? And so in every single WordPress, it says Hello Dolly by Matt Mullenweg. And there's is intricately tied to WordPress. And so I was really struck just by this feeling of, I learned a lot of lessons all at once. One was, yes, I was really affected by all the stuff that has gone down with WordPress in the past quarter. There it is. There's the picture. That's me taking a picture of it, not looking it up, which I could have done with another app very easily. But instead, I took a picture of it to show people, like, look, hey, Hello Dolly, it's cool. Anyway, so I let my the negative emotions, the negative experience really does affect our work. It affects our work in other ways. It affects my work within WordPress, but it affects my work, at a book flea market on a Sunday when I'm not doing anything digital really at all, right? Just hanging out with some books and some coffee. And so it really has an impact there. And then I was thinking about that I wasn't paying attention, right? But I still wanted to like control that. Like I had given it up, but and let it do its thing. But then I also wanted it back. And that really struck me as similar, a little metaphor for the leadership in our project, which is like, oh, I'm not going to worry about that or care about that at all until it like walks away or something's happening. And then I'm going to try to control it and take it back. I thought that was really interesting. And then also just the idea that you don't always know the value of what you have when you just have this stuff that you don't necessarily appreciate for what value it does have. Like, for example, the WordPress community. So I just had all these like really, I don't know, just kind of like realizations around this story. And really, I wanted to come on and tell this story with everybody so I could I don't know, get it out, but also I'm going to be thinking about this for so long. Like I'm never going to not think about this damn $300 record that I let walk away, and then that it's tied to, Hello Dolly. Yeah, the value of people, Mika's saying exactly. Like our project does not value what it has, even though it has it. And that's something that I was struck with leadership in general. And there's been actually a lot of conversations specifically around plugins in our Discord this week that have, I think it was this week or last week, really talking about that and plugins and people. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. I have a few more points about Hello Dolly, but I'm going to stop talking now for a minute.
So I was thinking a little bit about this, and as somebody who used to own a bookstore, in your library or in your bookstore in a box, do you have a copy of, or have you read The Body Keeps the Score?
I do have that book, actually. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should pull it out and reread it, because the kind of unrealized like drama that your body just kind of retains and holds on to, and what you've been through like this past like 3 or so months,
quarter
really
Q4.
Yeah. I wanted to say quarter, but then I was like, no, come on.
That's how I feel about it. I was like, oh, the first 3 quarters of the year were great, and then the Q4 just went.
The Say Wrapped for 2024. You had a terrible Q4.
Exactly. I listened. Actually, I did. I listened to like all like the song Clementine. I don't know if
the Elliott Smith one,
American folk song, and it's really sad. Like she dies, and then the guy's like, "Oh, I couldn't swim, so I didn't go get her, and then I married her sister." It's really awful. That's on my terrible. Spotify Wrapped this year. Anyway, but okay, this really does, aside from, my feelings, which we've been processing a lot on the show, this got me thinking a lot about Hello Dolly, the plugin. And there are, I want to get another picture on the screen. I'm not really sure how to get it on here because it was from Slack. I don't know. If I send you a picture, I guess you could probably get it on.
Send it to the group chat, and I will.
You'll get it up there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cool. I was like, I don't know. How do I?
It's so weird. Windows just doesn't have a messaging system.
I don't know.
So I have no way of pulling that up.
Maybe you should consider using texts to get your iMessages over onto Windows.
Oh my god.
No, thank you.
Oh my god, right now, especially considering the picture I just sent you. That's funny. So Hello Dolly is really interesting, right? As as a concept, what I wanted to talk about also was the lyrics of Hello Dolly, which is not the image that I sent you, but the lyrics to Hello Dolly are fairly misogynistic and gender role, like, I don't know how to say it, like they're just sexist, right? I won't even say they're like misogynistic. It's just like they're like very much like, Dolly, go get in the kitchen or whatever. I don't think it actually says that. I can look them up. But I actually did look them up this week as well. But I think it's really interesting that it's kind of along the same lines, that we just kind of accept this, right? This is just in there. No one really explains why it's in there. It's appearing, in the dashboards of these random lyrics. Oh, now you've got the graphic up. All right, so I'm gonna read this. Or do you want to read it? Can you read it, Cosper?
Well, I was going to say, Mika.
Heteronormative sexism is what that is.
Yes.
Just right up in everybody's dashboard.
This is from the Core Committers channel, February 27th. Matt said, maybe this is not the right channel for this, but I've been thinking about upgrading Hello Dolly. What if there was a link to find live jazz near you? We need some sort of open GeoDB where people could register gigs and times. This is not dissimilar to what we want to do connecting people to local WordPress meetups and events, so perhaps we could repurpose similar code.
Yeah, so Hello Dolly's on everybody's mind this year. This was February, at the beginning of the year, and now I'm having this experience here in November at the end of the year. What do you all think about that before I, talk more?
We always talk about having things be opinionative, having an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that WordPress is very opinionative of people that they believe that people like jazz. Now, I don't think I've ever went on, I'm just gonna say Spotify, but whatever it would be for me, it'd be Spotify. And
there's
went
not
and
a Spotify commercial at the beginning of this show. I will be disappointed. Sorry.
Yeah, but I've never went and said I want to listen to jazz and then push play. I don't think I've ever have done that. I think WordPress has pushed that to me as someone who uses WordPress, but I don't think I've ever went oh man, I gotta listen to some jazz right now. That's just not me. Yeah. So there's an opinion there that people like jazz, and it's also kind of weird because it's I don't know, I didn't grow up in a household where I had parents that really tried to push their music on me, but it almost feels like that, where it's you have to listen to this music because you're in the house, and so they're playing it all the time. And so I kind of have this feeling that having something like that, where it's going to be this database of things that are going to tell me about whatever, that's the first thing I'm going to turn off.
Yeah, I mean, we're really the ethos or the philosophy of WordPress says that we're only supposed to put things in core that are useful for 80% of the users. And
right.
I wanted to talk about that in a bigger way for a long time because hello, Gutenberg. But we're all past that now. But in terms of Hello Dolly as an education plugin, right? As opposed to going off into the live jazz, which is I mean, I don't even know where to start with that. There are so many problems with the idea of that. And the key problem being that Matt Mullenweg owns a jazz club. There's just no way to get around that in terms of conflict of interest, that you would put jazz listings in everyone's WordPress install. That's just yeah, Mika.
Is that a fact? He does own a jazz club?
Yeah, it's called King's Bistro, I think. It's in San Francisco. It's at a historical thing. Yeah, it's great, except for it doesn't need to be in 80% of the, I don't know if that idea went anywhere. As Mika is saying in the chat, geo-tracking is not simple. As someone who has made multiple account event calendars, pulling in that data from any sort of standardized place is just not even possible.
Sure, let's make calls out to some API.
It would be this one jazz club that has the right setup for their event listings that would be in the dashboard. I wonder which one it would be. I don't know.
You know, Tucker, I'm a little surprised that you aren't much of a jazz head, because I do know that you like hip hop, and so many like hip hop samples come from a lot of like
Yep.
classic jazz.
Yep.
So
But I listen to the derivative of it.
Right. That
I don't listen to the original. I listen to the derivative.
Yeah, that was kind of my gateway into jazz, and it's something that like I have to be in the right head frame to listen to it. I have a real I guess you might say basic bitch taste in jazz. Which is like I mean just like last week on the turntable behind me, I was playing Kind of Blue, which Miles Davis, which I mean, even if you aren't into jazz, it's
Were you Kind of Blue?
I mean, it was a little cloudy out, but I just kind of wanted something that I could put on, and you know, no lyrics, no anything else, like put on, and just sort of like that's the sort of jazz I gravitate to, is you know, and what's funny is a lot of things that I end up listening to outside of that, like lo-fi hip hop, things like that, also dig really heavy on those jazz samples, the old jazz, the old soul, stuff like that. But yeah, that actually strikes me as interesting, that you know, but I get it. There are a bunch of different playlists out there on like Apple Music, Spotify, like those other services.
Now
Like,
Cosper's trying to push jazz on you.
right.
No, what's funny though
do you
is
have
like,
no, but so there are playlists out there that are like, here is the song that sampled the jazz song
I
or
have
whatever.
a couple playlists that are
Yeah,
exactly like that. So like
yeah,
the thing is it's not that I don't like jazz. It's just that I don't listen to jazz,
yeah.
you know?
Get
Like
it?
I have a bunch of hip hop playlists. Like I have one that's like, I'm a rap fan, but I like these house songs.
Right.
So it's literally like a house, it's like house songs, but it's people rapping over them.
So
But
You
I
know,
also have a lot of jazz stuff that has rap, you know, stuff to it as well. So it's just like, I don't know, it's
yeah.
yeah, it's just not my thing. But
I mean,
I don't mind
well,
listening
here's
to
the
it
thing.
as a derivative.
This is the thing. First of all, making a complicated plugin with geo-tracking and you know, getting listings from whatever database might exist, which it doesn't, by the way. Eventbrite, I don't know, anything tag jazz shows up. Like, I can't even begin to imagine the nightmares of that, like on so many levels.
You're
So
just gonna buy bands in town and only do jazz.
yeah, bands in town doesn't even, like, none of them even work because no one puts the stuff in. It just,
Right.
like, just doesn't happen. You can't display data that is not inputted into a system. It's just, this is this
mhm.
fundamental break there that the music industry has not really gotten there. You know, that's not really their thing.
I
I'm generalizing.
I think I don't want to interrupt, say, but I think one of the interesting things about this is the idea for this, this like kind of
For Hello Dolly,
evolving,
you mean? Yeah.
yeah, this
Yes.
this evolution of Hello Dolly. I don't like it, and it's not because I, you know, am taking any sort of like standoffish, you know, approach to this, but I really think that you know, Hello Dolly is there, much to the chagrin of like so many people who are like, why the hell is this even installed on my WordPress site? But it's there to get people into plugin development.
So yes.
This is an
Okay.
easy plugin.
Hmm.
This is an easy thing for people to use and tear apart. The second you start adding
Pause. Oh, okay.
geocoding and everything else, it no longer becomes
That is,
an, yeah.
yeah, that is 100% true. But I was going to say that if you have a plugin that is installed that does some random thing like lyrics, nobody knows that that is what that plugin is there for, unless you are a dev head who's, and especially now in the time of managed WordPress, I mean, it's not even really there anymore, right? So are we talking about the core installation or the quick install, or like what version, which package of WordPress are we talking about that still has it bundled? And second of all, there's no indicator whatsoever in the plugin that, hey, you should go check out the back end of this code. And you can't do it from the front end. So it's not in any way an invitation to explore the code. It is just like, here's a thing. And if you happen to be inclined to go take things apart, which some people are, a lot of devs are, they're like, what is this? I'm going to unpack this. Oh, I can do this with it. Great. That is such a small subset of people, and a small subset of people who would use it if it maybe said, hey, this is a sample plugin. You should check it out. Here's how to do that.
Right.
Which doesn't exist at all. So instead of upgrading the Hello Dolly plugin to be some promo for jazz events, which is an actual nightmare, like 12 nightmares stacked on top of each other. Something and I'm just going to attribute it because Courtney, friend of the show in the chat, is very adamantly has said it like 6 times. It would make a lot of sense to create a teaching plugin that is just a simple plugin, and it could still pop lyrics up in the, maybe you could select the lyric type, the genre you wanted, and it would put it up there, or whatever it is. So you could have an interaction, an experience that said, here's what this is here for, not just random, because right now it's literally, there's no clue of why it's there. And as Mika is saying, the people who are even doing anything with Hello Dolly is like not even there. But we are missing an opportunity in so much of our installs to communicate with our users. And we've really bridged that gap in a big way, I think, this year with the Get Involved tab. But a default install plugin set, if it was something neutral that was valuable, that can contribute to a user's understanding of WordPress, I think hosts would still include it in their basic installs, instead of being like, this is a random thing that's going to confuse all of my customers. Let's take it out. I mean, I can't hosting companies, but that's, I feel like everyone would be like, sure, just leave it in there. It's clear what it's for.
Exactly. When I worked at WP Engine, I mean, there in 2011, I mean, WP Engine was one of the first ones to break with tradition and actively uninstall Hello Dolly when it was installed. And to the point where for a minute, and I know that particular people inside the WordPress project weren't happy about this, Hello Dolly was on the disallowed plugins list, which meant on WP Engine that if it got installed, it would be automatically uninstalled after 7 days if it was still like active, or not even active, just installed on the site.
Is it just because it's completely useless code, really? Like, I mean, essentially it is, right? Like, I mean, and it's like a friend of the show, old co-host of the show, Suzette, made one that turned your dashboard, your admin bar, pink, right? Like that was just a fun little thing, but it does still create the potential for what is it, like security breaches in theory, because it's software, and if it's not being updated, if it's not being paid attention to, I mean, obviously Hello Dolly, I don't know who works on Hello Dolly, like who is keeping it. I mean, Matt, it says it's his name, but I don't. Like, is
at least a team of 30?
Like, I mean, because we're having the back end, the admin update, right? So it's going to have to update, even if it's just the baseline of what it is, just straight up Hello Dolly. It will still have to display differently because we're moving all of those things around. So there's not going to be like the admin bar where it can display in the dashboard. So I have a funny thought. I wonder if Matt Mullenweg still has Hello Dolly installed on his main WordPress install. What do you think? Bet? Anybody? I don't know. I think that's an interesting thought. Anyway, so
we kind of circled around it, but what if Hello Dolly like donated a block that shows up on your, that you can actually have Hello Dolly show up on the front end of the site?
I mean, as like
that would
some
at least show
sort of
somebody how to make a
block.
block.
Right. It could be turned into a block building plugin. It could be turned into there's a new tool that was just showcased actually in Meta. I don't think it hasn't been really, I think it has a post, but I'm not sure. It's called a tour plugin, and it was created by the Polyglot team in order to facilitate understanding where things were in different languages. And now they're mainstreaming that into something that any of the make WordPress sites can use to like have people tooltip around.
Right.
So I mean that's just being installed on the make sites, but something like that was installed that was like, hey, this is what the block editor is, and you could walk through a little, you could have a block on the front page in the samples page or whatever it is, that walks you through that. I mean, I'd be happy calling it Hello Dolly, it'd be like, instead of Hello World.
Maybe what it is that we're waiting for Matt to learn how to make a block, and then also waiting for Matt to learn how to write in React. So that way, once we redo the dashboard in React, it could be, done in React. Maybe that's what's
happening. Him and most of us, because I mean, come on.
I'm such an AZF.
I'm just trying to kill Say over here. That's literally my goal here.
You're succeeding. I think that it's, and what really comes down to this is to circle back to our story, right? Like to circle back to my story is that we don't really get to decide as a community what happens to Hello Dolly.
Right.
Like that's not up to us. Like Matt is going to make that decision, and it doesn't say WordPress, that the plugins from WordPress. It says Matt Mullenweg. That's who makes it, right? His name is in every install. His name is at the footer of all the WordPress.org. He owns WordPress.org. He's moving all of the Slack chats to Matrix. We'll talk about that in another episode.
The YouTube album of WordPress.
Servers.
You need to
YouTube album. Oh my god. It's like the YouTube album.
You need to know so much inside baseball to know, like most end users do not know that Matt Mullenweg is the main developer of WordPress. Most end users don't know that Hello Dolly is supposed to be a plugin that exists so you can learn how to build a plugin. Most people like there are all of these
80-20, like the other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably like 5 to 10% of users of WordPress know what these things are. Like,
I just personally have always been fond of J-Trip made a fork of Hello Dolly called Hello Donny. It hasn't been updated in a few years.
Get on it, J-Trip.
Yeah, but it throws Big Lebowski quotes into your dashboard, and honestly, I mean, I feel like that more than jazz is the thing that we can all get behind.
I mean, I think that having a switcher, like kind of like a lorem ipsum generator, like that would be cool, right? So I like the Hello Dolly, Hello World parallel. So, I think that makes sense. But if you could say, hey, show me lyrics from a different genre, show me lyrics from, an opera, show me lyrics from pop music, show me lyrics from whatever it happens to be, we could get an open source. I'm not sure there's an open source lyric.
And it would get people into working with APIs, doing something a little more advanced than just necessarily inserting a line from a song into the dashboard.
Right, because those lyrics are just written in the code, right? Like that's not like, it's not like, by the way, I sent you the lyrics. You want to pop those up for a second? Because the lyrics are just going to be a static thing in the code. They're not being pulled from anywhere. Right. So that's not dynamic in that sense. It's dynamic in the sense that it is random, but it is not, I mean, people love lorem ipsum generators. Like if you could have that,
someone who runs one
and choose to like have it on your front end, even like people would probably use that. People love lyrics and quotes. Like that would be a way to get people into, I don't know, sort of like that tinkering with the site. That is really what you need in order to understand kind of that there is more to WordPress than that's just the surface. I think that would really help people to do that. If they're like, oh, I want to change this and use this just for fun. we have to make that broader, because fun for everybody is not saying go sit on this guy's lap. I just want to bring up the lyrics here. So take her rap, fellas. Find her an empty lap, fellas. Dolly will never go away again. Like, you're looking swell, Dolly. Like, what? It's so sexist. Like, it's really, like, I understand it's meant to be wholesome, but like, so are a lot of things. You know, Friends didn't used to be offensive. It's like this, like,
This is the baby it's cold outside of WordPress.
It is the baby.
It is.
That's exactly what it is.
It is.
It's just, the thing is, I haven't actually looked into what this actually means, because a lot of the lyrics to songs like this back in the day had a lot of innuendo. There's actually, especially in jazz. So, you know, what that means, you're still glowing, you're still crowing. Like, what are we talking about? What is she glowing and crowing from? You know, like it has some implication, and you don't have to look into it that deeply, right? It can just be lyrics on a page, but why are we just putting random things in at this point? Like, let's not be random. It was random 20 years ago or like 15 years ago or whatever. But now we have the ability to be intentional and broaden our scope and say, what if we brought in lyrics from, I don't know, like African folk songs, or, you know, I don't know.
I suggested earlier Dolly Parton lyrics. We could just have Jolene show up.
I mean,
and we didn't have to change the name of the plugin.
The Dolly Parton, I mean, all of that is very US centric, right? That is very English centric.
Right.
This is like very male centric. It's from a male perspective. Like, we're, you know, not to bring the techno optimist manifest into things, but
oh, do we have time?
Yeah. The project claims sustainability. The project claims inclusiveness. The project claims autonomy, right? Like the ability to like make our own thing, like the community, it's doing its own thing. And honestly, the kibosh on sustainability that was in the Techno Optimist Manifesto, like that is hugely discouraging from my perspective for the new sustainability team. There have been different choices made by people to follow people on different social medias that give me some pause in terms of heteronormativity and gender roles. And Hello Dolly, an example of that. So we're not living up to the ethos and what we are saying that we're doing. Like half of us are and half of us aren't, or like the right brain and the left brain. I'm not sure, but I think this is a really good example of us not really having control of the project. Like the project, like we can't go have this discussion somewhere. Like, I don't know where the discussion for what should we do with Hello Dolly. I mean, Matt didn't even know where the discussion should be. He brought it up in the core committers channel, which is a weird channel for that. I guess it'd be like you have to get someone to agree to core commit it or something. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But we can't have this conversation openly as a community, and it's just one person's decision for what goes into it. We're talking about core code. I don't know what that says, but I do know that I sold a record for really, really cheap.
Coming back around.
And I lost some money because of my negative experiences with our project leadership this quarter. So what should we do? I feel like Hello Dolly is a good place to start. That's what I think.
Yeah, we gotta do it and React, and we also have to add blocks to it.
I mean, we could also just say, hey, maybe this plugin by this one person shouldn't be part of core, and maybe we should have a community plugin be part of core, or maybe they could donate it to the community, and then we could have some say over it. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, them's my thought. If anyone wants to send me a first pressing of the, I did remove a trigger. I kind of removed this. Thank you all for being part of my therapy.
We'll send you a Venmo request for billing.
You can all individually Venmo request me for $5, and collectively that will be, I think, the therapy bill. So that's fine. I love you all. You're the best therapists there ever were.
Please, audience, don't take her up on that. She's
already
already out $300. Apparently, we don't need her losing any more money.
Oh, it was a good copy. All right, I'm gonna stop thinking about it now forever.
So, what are we talking about on our after cooler today?
All the records we've sold for too little money.
All the records we've sold.
I don't know.
Right.
Maybe we should talk about our plan of action for Hello Dolly. I don't know.
All right.
Just saying. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. We'll see you over there. Love y'all.
Yeah. Go over to WPwatercooler.com/aftercooler. And that's where you can find how to join us over there in our audio section of our Discord. Yeah. Audio only. Talk to y'all later. Here's our outro. Hey, go over to our website at WPwatercooler.com/subscribe and subscribe to this content over there. We appreciate it. We're available wherever it is that you can listen to audio podcasts, and you can watch us pretty much wherever it is that you can watch video podcasts as well on YouTube and all those other places. So go hang out over there. We'd really appreciate it.